Hello and welcome to a new week of Sunday League to Legend. We're back on Football Manager 21 for a transfer and general update special. If this was Sky Sports, it'd be the moment the cameras cut backstage to see Jim White putting on his yellow tie. He's not here today, but I am, and I'll talk you through everything related to Leyland Albion in the off-season during 2023. We begin with actually looking back at the dying embers of our Level 8 experience, in which we ended the season once again unbeaten. Lots of games stand out in the last few weeks of the campaign, not least that 7-0 win against Sholing. We then had a 6-5 win against Chertsey. Survived with 2 draws late on against Hertford and Ashford in Middlesex, and then ended the campaign away at Eastbourne Town by 2-0. Really successful campaign for us last year. Not only did we win the league at level 8 with the unbeaten stint, but we also claimed the North West Counties Cup against Warrington Rylands over at White Moss Park in Skelmersdale. Big day for us here, and great to see another trophy added to the cabinet. I was going to say the coffers, but the coffers were swelled, of course, by our success. We can see the development year on year, and if I look at competitions, you will see plenty of honours in our role. Always good to collect the trophies every single year. Now, Leyland Albion have moved from the pitching in Isthmian League South Central Division to the pitching in Southern Premier South, along with the likes of Farsley, Truro, Peterborough Sports, Bury Town, Dorchester, and Hayes and Yedding. Once again, I don't think this is correct, because we should not be in the Southern Premier South. Just doesn't make sense for a team from Leyland or here in Lancashire to be paired with clubs, and I know where some of these clubs are. Truro, for example, is I think as south as you can get. I know, for example, that our upcoming opponents, they're first in the league, are Poole, and Wikipedia informs me that Poole is a large coastal town and seaport in Dorset on the south coast. So somewhere with the level 10 database that was downloaded from the FM editor 85, something's gone wrong in the background, and it isn't quite pairing us up with the correct leagues that we should be in. I have reached out on Twitter, sent him a quick message, but haven't received anything back yet. Hopefully it will do in the coming weeks, and then we can sort of figure out what's gone wrong, because at this stage, if I look at the structure, we surely should be in one of the other leagues, such as the pitching in Isthmian Premier Division. I mean, that would make more sense. The same league as #United. St Albans, Potters Bar. And then they've also got the Northern Premier League. I mean, this is more our sort of thing, isn't it? The likes of Nantwich Bamberbridge is a local team. Blythe Spartans. Bradford Park Avenue. This is the league that we should be in. So, not quite sure how we've ended up in the league that we have. What's more worrying is that this league feeds into the Vanarama National League South, when we should be in the Vanarama National League North. We're a team in Lancashire. I don't quite understand what's gone on there, but we get on with it. Once we get into the Football League, certainly the Vanarama National League itself, then these sort of things don't really matter anymore, but it's just odd, and I don't like it. We're in the wrong league against teams not local, which doesn't seem right. It's a bit odd. In terms of transfers, as always at this sort of level, there has been plenty. Now, we still can't offer weekly salaries, which is a bit of an issue. But as you can see, plenty of players have come in. Only a couple that were from actual other clubs, including Abdi Osman, Jacob Bancroft, and Colby Shepherd. Ben Tozer is the one that I'm actually really excited about, which sounds weird because he's a central defender, but he is formerly of Newcastle United, and he is probably the answer to all of our defensive problems. I mean, if he's not, I don't know what to do. Spent last season on loan with Gloucester in the Vanarama North from Cheltenham in League Two. So obviously got some pedigree to him. Let's hope that can continue. As you can see, Newcastle United earlier in his career just made the one appearance in the Sky Bet Championship, but that's good enough for me. He's got league pedigree, plenty of appearances at League Two. I mean, we're a level 7 club, so always good as far as I'm concerned. Lloyd Kerry is an experienced player, 35 years old now. So as you can see, look at it. He was with Harrogate last year in the Vanarama National. Didn't get an appearance, but did make 3 the season before. With Harrogate, 40 appearances in Sky Bet League 2. So that was back in 2021, which is actually the starting year for this save. So plenty of games being played there. Has banded around the Vanarama National and even League Two with Chesterfield back in the day. So an experienced signing for us, one that I'm really excited about. We've got the likes of Jacob Bancroft in. He's got good physical stats. Needs to develop in terms of his technical and mental attributes. We tend to sign up these players based on their trial. If they play well, they're coming in. This is another one. I think he's going to be a good player for us. Potential ability 4.5 stars. Icelandic, only 18 years old. 16 under 21 international caps. Arneson really looks a good player. It's another case of when you step up from the leagues, you just have to let go of some players. You want to be loyal to them, you want to bring them with you, but you can't, because if you do, it's just not going to work out, and you're going to be back down there. The likes of Ted Can have come in. He's our new goalkeeper, probably start for us. Some decent stats there. We've just had to get rid of a lot of players. If we look at the released, you'll see a lot of these names has been with us for a number of years. If you take, for example, Giannis Kontakos, he was signed in our very first season. So he's been with us right from the beginning. 36 appearances, went down to 9 the following year, and then hasn't featured in the last season. De Castro was one of our earliest signings. Had to let him go because he just wasn't playing a lot of football for us. Same with the likes of Trent Coulter, Joshua Ede, Stevenson Gallagher, the posh boy with 2 names. You might remember. He came in, can play either side, left or right, but just wasn't playing. Even Brad Weir, who was a young lad and who will find a new club. Jonty Booch, same. We've just had to be ruthless, and we've just had to let players go where they're just not in the plans. And it's difficult to do. The likes of Mike Corral, they've been here for ages. Sheldon Payne, really good, versatile player right across the front, but his stats have just declined. He's gone off the cliff, and you can't afford to keep him around. It's difficult to do because you want these players to stay with you. Matt Thornhill, he's been here for a few years as well. They all have, but you've got to not just keep hold of them for the sake of it. Matt Lawler, another player, another 3 seasons with us. Last year, he played 30 games, but we've got better defenders in this year. And even you have to do it with players who you sign in this transfer window. So if you look at the likes of Colby Shepherd, 21 years old, signed as a winger, will never play a game for us because we've got rid of him straight away. Came from Whitby in the pitching in Northern Premier League, where we should be, but just can't be carrying the can. He's just not up to standard of the players that we've bought in. The other issues are things like Jamie Forbes. Now, he's been complaining pretty much for the last 2 years about the amount of games that he's playing. So it's game over for him, unfortunately. He has been given his pink slip and he's on the way. Really sorry to see the likes of Ricardo Santos disappear. Again, one of our first signings. Didn't play a great amount of games for us, certainly not in the league. Did make a few cup appearances along the way. Never let us down, always there across the left side of the pitch, but just cannot keep him on when we've got a big squad. You can, if you are at this sort of level, because you're not paying any wages, you're only really paying bonuses, you can just accumulate masses and masses of players. You can see the amount that we've got rid of and the amount that we've brought in to start with. If we look at our squad, it's getting to the stage where it's quite balanced now. There's just a lot of players for us to choose from, and I think finding out our best 11 and even the best squad really will be crucial in the early weeks of the season so that we can start cutting some of the players. If we look at our midfield and attacking midfield, there's just so many players here, right from Harry Walker all the way down to Tom Dawson. I mean, we've really got to consider which players are remaining at the club and which are doing the business for us. One player that we did sign right at the end of last season, went a bit under the radar, was the return of Connor Comer. So our record goal scorer, who scored, I think it was 80 goals for us in total across 2 seasons, starting with 52 in the first season, and then another 31 league goals, these are, in the second campaign. He went off to North Ferriby, had 2 good years with them, but then returned at the end of last season. Just played 5 games for us and did pretty well, but he had a bit of settling in to do following his absence. We are still at Fox Lane, but it is being upgraded. We're spending our time at Lancashire FA County Ground once again while that takes place. In terms of pre-season, it's been a pretty good run for us this year. We've played a lot of home games, bringing some money in for the finances. Lost a couple. We lost 2-1 to Clitheroe and to AFC Fylde in a home game. A couple of draws with the City of Liverpool and the Holker Old Boys, our old rivals. But we've scored big wins, the likes of Charnock Richard, Garstang and Bury AFC. I do look to play local teams if possible. You can always tell which ones I've arranged and which ones the club has arranged. The likes of Runcorn, Linnets and Rill, not really a couple that I'd look at. But from Charnock Richard down, they're the ones that I have scheduled. Our tactics have not changed a massive amount. I'm still sticking with the 4-4-2. I don't see a big problem with it as it stands. This is potentially the team that's going to play our first game. Plenty of changes. Not many have survived from last season. Only really Lewis Salmon and Connor Comer, who just came in right at the tail end. So there is still plenty of opportunity for players to state their claim as for the new campaign. So our first league game is up against Poole. That will be broadcast on Wednesday. So our first game at level 7. There's plenty of work to be done. But thank you for joining me today for this update. And I'll see you when we head to Lancashire FA County Ground. See you then.